All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be talking about the medical certification form. My name is Brandy Nealon, and I'm the Director of Consumer Assistance with the Office of People's Counsel. Now, before we get going, who is OPC, Office of People's Counsel? Well, we're a state agency, and we represent all residential consumers of natural gas, electric, private water, and some telecommunications. What does that kind of look like? Generally, our office is made up of mostly attorneys, and they're representing your best interest in a place called the Public Service Commission. Now, the Public Service Commission kind of makes the rules, oversees a lot of what the utilities are doing. So when a utility wants to start a big project or raise your rates, they can't just do it. They actually have to ask permission first from the Public Service Commission. So the utility will send, typically it's a lot of their attorneys, to present a case and say, we feel like we need to raise the rates for X, Y, and Z. Then my office shows up and represents your best interest. So we show up and we say, we have questions about that, or we disagree, or something like that. So that's sort of how that all works and where OPC plays in. Now, in addition to that, we also have a consumer assistance unit. It's myself and my colleague Pauline Wiley, and one other person that works one-on-one with folks. So if you're having an issue with your utility or you're not sure what to do or where to turn, our number is a good number to hang on to and reach out. Now, with that, what is a medical certification form? Well, we're actually going to take some time to go through not only what it is and how to get it and what it does, but we're also going to take a look at it today. It is generally just like a form that you and your doctor, nurse practitioner, or physician's assistant fills out. And essentially, it just states that it's, first of all, okay to release your information to any local, state, or federal government emergency responders in the event of a weather-related emergency. But what we're really going to be focusing on today is that the loss of gas or electric would either aggravate a serious illness or prevent the use of life support. So that's really all it is. Again, what your healthcare professional and you fill this out. And if you have a medical condition or use some sort of life support, and if the gas or electric were to be cut off, if it would interfere with that, you might qualify for this. So the question becomes, well, what is a serious illness, or what is medical equipment? That's really not up to me. It's not up to the utility. It's up to you and your healthcare provider. So it could be, just to give you some type of examples, because it's really all over the place. And again, it really depends on you. But it could be, maybe there was a major surgery in the house recently, and now you need electricity to recover. Maybe there's a preemie in the home. Maybe there's an older adult. Maybe there's someone going through chemotherapy. Maybe there's a hospital bed, a nebulizer. There's really no list, because it's really dependent upon you as a person and your individual situation. It's up to you to kind of talk to your healthcare provider about filling out this form on your behalf. Now, once you get it filled out, it's not good forever. You're going to have to renew it. Generally, it's once every year, but I would talk to your utility about how often. So what does it do? So you have your this form filled out. Why? What are kind of the benefits of having it? Well, if there was a turnoff notice, it actually extends that turnoff date by 30 days, as long as you enter into a payment arrangement within those 30 days. That's the biggest one that we see people use this for. So if you have an active shutoff, it can extend it by 30 days. Now, if you're already off, it does not turn you back on. This only works if you have an active shutoff notice. There's some extra protections in place for those with MedCerts on file in terms of terminations for non-payment. So generally, you get, a shut-off notice, and it's 14 days. That's typically what happens. But if you have a medical cert on file, the utility has to make 2 extra personal attempts. That could either be in person, so coming to your house, leaving a copy, or calling you. So there's kind of these 2 extra layers in between you. And then, like I had mentioned, they'll also release your information to emergency responders in the event of a weather-related emergency. So these are kind of the big 3 things that a medical cert does. What does it not do? It will not keep you on indefinitely without payment. You still have to make payment. Like I said, this is that 30-day hold. They take into consideration when talking with you about, what your options are, but it's not going to keep you on indefinitely without payment. And if you are off, as I mentioned, it's not going to restore your power sooner. Once the lights are off, Like I said, this doesn't really, it's good, still good for the utility to know that there's a medical issue, but it's not going to get you back on. So I want to just pause and take a look at the form so you have a sense of kind of what it looks like here. Whoops. I'm also going to send everybody this form, and it's also available on our website. It's a pretty straightforward form. So this is where your information goes. So pretty basic stuff. And then section 2, this is going to be where your healthcare provider steps in. So it's going to say, I hereby certify that the termination of electric or gas service will either, and we saw this earlier, aggravate an existing serious illness or prevent the use of life support equipment. This is where that physician or nurse practitioner or RN can go. It's not listed here, but an RN is also fine. But they're going to have to put their license number on this, and it is going to be checked. They're also going to need to sign it. Here's the note about entering into a payment arrangement within that 30 days. These are just some definitions of serious illness and life support equipment. But again, I would really just speak to your healthcare provider about it. It's going to have to be a discussion between the two of you about what they think constitutes. And then section 2, this is that part about releasing your information in a weather-related emergency. And this is something that you can fill out. You don't need anybody else to fill this out. So really, this is a section that you'll be working in. You can fill out this top portion, but this section right here needs to be completed by that healthcare provider. Okay. Now, this is a clickable link to the form, and there's also a video where we kind of walk through it, just sort of like we did. There's another video there if you'd like to look. Now, how do you get this form? Well, I would suggest that you actually call your utility and let them know. If you have an active shutoff notice, depending on what utility territory you're in, it will trigger a 30-day hold. This is true for BGE as an example. If you have an active shutoff and you call them and request a medical certification form, it'll put a 30-day hold onto your account. That's not true for everyone across the state. Sometimes it's that you have to turn back in the medical form to get the 30-day hold. So really, when you're calling and talking to the utility about it, ask some questions. How does this process work? So step 1, call the utility, let them know there's a medical issue. Request that form. Now, once you have the form, have your healthcare professional fill it out, sign it. Then you want to make copies and then turn it back into your utility. And we want all this done before your termination notice expires. Like I said, once that termination notice goes into effect, you kind of run out of options and that 30-day hold isn't as useful. This is our information. If you have any questions about this form, need help filling out the form, anything like that. And with that,